Will. All right. Sunday morning. A lot of stuff to cover. First and foremost, hats off to the Alabama Crimson Tide. Well done, gentlemen. You guys were as advertised, which was nice to see. Had the coach on the sideline, looked healthy, looked good. That's good to see. And you guys played great football, no doubt about it. Georgia's offense did not. So, all right. So the objective of the video today is to discuss pretty much every facet of the game, and I'm going to talk about everything. So we're going to talk about Alabama, we're going to talk about Georgia, and we're going to talk about the refereeing. Now, before you guys jump down in the comment section saying I'm blaming the refereeing, hold your horses. I'm not blaming the loss of that game on the referees. Listen, Bama fan, I'm not crying about the referees. But if you are going to stick your head in the dirt and say that the refereeing this year in college football is not a problem, there is something either clearly wrong with you or your eyesight. Now, Georgia lost that game. Alabama beat Georgia. No doubt about it. If the refereeing had have been perfect, Georgia still would have lost that game. No doubt about it. But week in and week out in college football, the officiating is almost getting worse, and it's a problem. There was numerous calls for Georgia that I didn't agree with. There were numerous calls for Alabama that I didn't agree with. And if you want to go back and look at some of my other videos, you can find that there are Alabama fans that are saying some of these calls are absolutely BS. Not just against Alabama, but against Georgia. Think about that. You've got Alabama fans that are saying that those calls were wrong and Alabama was beating the daylights out of Georgia. It's bad, and it needs to be fixed. And I'll say it again before you get down in the comment section with the type, as Uncle Lou would say. No matter if the officiating was perfect, Georgia still would have lost that game. So the officiating's a damn problem. It needs to be fixed. I don't want to see, and here's why I'm saying that. There are bigger games coming up down the line that I don't want to see the officiating screw it up and cost another team a football game. Arkansas didn't get a win over Auburn. People care, but people really don't care because that's not going to have an impact on the college football playoff. Screwing up an SEC championship game because of a bogus call is going to cause some serious, serious heartburn for some people. Now, so Georgia fans, I've addressed the refereeing problem. Alabama fans, I've addressed the refereeing problem. And the fact that Georgia still would have lost. I don't have a problem admitting that. And Georgia fan, if you think the only reason Georgia lost that game was because of officiating, you either need to get your eyes checked or you need to wake up. I made my fan reaction video last night 5 minutes before the end of the game because I knew there was no way Georgia was going to come back and win that game. It was impossible. So what happened? Georgia plays great in the first half. Same old story, same old song and dance. But this time we weren't up 20, but it still wouldn't have mattered. Georgia has not come to any of these big games with a plan for the second half. We don't. We're going to go in the door with what we got to start with, and let's hope we can make it through. Attention, Kirby Smart. That does not work. Stop doing it. Stop. Attention, Kirby Smart. The quarterback you have at the QB1 position is no longer needed. Please remove him immediately. Look, Stetson Bennett is a good quarterback. Would start for most teams. Would win 8, 9, 10 games a year. But he's never going to beat a great team. Period. All right, now for all you other fans out there, replace Stetson Bennett's name with Jake Fromm at the beginning of that sentence, and it's the exact same thing I said last year. Nobody was pulling harder for Stetson Bennett than I was, but Stetson Bennett, the Alabama offensive line, Nick Saban just showed you that he cannot play against taller, bigger, stronger players and win games. The Alabama offensive line did not show up to that game to play football. They showed up to that game to play volleyball, and they kept spiking his passes back at him. They just couldn't find the net. Stetson Bennett's been at Georgia for 7 or 8 decades now. He has played a backup. He's played his backup. He's done this. He's done that. The guy's been around forever. He played JUCO, superstar JUCO, played football since he was 3 years old, and he can't figure out how to pass a dad blame ball down the field properly. One of those interceptions, which was a batted pass, you could say, it's not really his fault. That's his fault. If you know that the Alabama line is throwing their hands up, don't throw it directly over their heads where they can reach. You need to roll out. Todd Monken talking to you. Call passes that allow him to move away from the top of the defensive line. Hey, I get it. You can't do it every time. I understand. Then put in a damn quarterback who can. Roll him a stepladder out there so that he can see over his offensive line. The guy's 5'11". I don't know that there's an offensive lineman out there on either side of the ball that's under 6'5". You're talking a half a foot deficit before the ball's ever snapped. So what happens? Ball gets batted down. He tries to compensate by throwing it a mile over their heads. Realizes that he's in way over his head, figuratively and literally. Starts making mistakes. You cannot make those kind of mistakes against great football teams. Clearly, Alabama's a great football team. I was very reluctant to pick Georgia going into this game. If you don't believe me, go back and watch my preview video. I told you, I said, I don't know who to pick on this one. Because my head was telling me Alabama, but my heart was telling me Georgia. Stetson Bennett is not the guy. Not. I wanted it. I wanted it for him. Great story, incredible story. Look at all the hardship he's been through. I really wanted this for him. But this ain't about Stetson Bennett. You don't see nothing back here behind my head with Stetson Bennett's name on it. I want a national championship. I want a 5-star quarterback in the back making plays, not trying to win games. I want a quarterback back there who is going to win big games. DeJuan Mathis didn't really give him a whole lot of chance to get in there and figure it out. JT Daniels supposedly was medically cleared 2 weeks ago. Where in the heck is he at? Haven't seen him. And Kirby Smart, take a note. If you're 20 plus points down and your quarterback is on his 3rd pick, roll somebody else in there. Hell, they can't do any worse. For those of you ripping on the defense, listen. Those defensive players did all they could. Those defensive guys was working their tails off. They're out there trying their butt off to give our offense a chance. Now, there were times we had good, slow, methodical drives. There were times when we forced Alabama to punt the ball. Our first setup we had was like an interception, punt, and then it was touchdown, field goal. And then that was pretty much it. Game was pretty much done for us at that point. We boxed it up and went home. The field goal there at the end of the first half with 3 seconds left on the clock, I could see the argument from either side. Yeah, you could say, yeah, there's 3 seconds left on the clock, and I've seen tons of games where they didn't give them enough. The 3 seconds wasn't enough to get the job done. The clock ran out. But I think the rule technically is if you have 3 seconds, that's enough time to spike a ball. But that doesn't matter because we lost the game by 20-something points. We got blown out. Blown out. Almost everybody you watched was picking this game to be a 3 or 4 point game, loss or win. Now you had your Neanderthals that were out there and they're like, Bama's gonna beat them 77-3. Sorry, you're not Clemson and this ain't Georgia Tech. Alabama beat Georgia. Georgia beat Georgia, and the referees were beating us both. Now, if you don't believe that, Alabama fan, if you don't believe that, Tennessee fan, you go back and watch those games. There are tons of pictures that are showing up right now of holds that weren't called. If you're going to call one, you need to call the most obvious ones, the most blatant ones. If you're going to call pass interference, then call pass interference when it's pass interference every time. I've never seen so many defensive holding calls against Georgia secondary and none get called against Alabama. Maybe one. It was terrible. I hate seeing games where so much is left in the hands of the referees. Like I said, hats off to Alabama. They beat Georgia. If you jump down in my comment section and talk about them whining and crying, you ain't listened to a word I've said. And for all you other fans that jump down in my comment section, they want to talk smack, and it's your first time being here, where was you at before the game? It's easy to sit back there and hide behind the curtain and be like, is Alabama going to win? Alabama going to win? Oh, Alabama, how you suck? Come on now. Jeez. If you're going to do that, at least show up ahead of time and make the comment in the comment section. Well, Bama's going to whoop y'all. Okay, and then Bama whoops y'all. And then jump back out and say, we told you so. Listen, you ain't tell us nothing. Now, the other flip side of the coin. The only thing about this game that had any kind of serious implications for the rest of the season was, yeah, Georgia took a loss. Doesn't affect our standing in the East. More than likely than not, still going to end up in the SEC championship game and play Alabama again. But it told us, showed us, proved to us Stetson Bennett can't beat Bama. We got 2 off weeks. Well, we got a bye week. And then we got Kentucky. We either need to put JT Daniels in here, or Carson Beck, or DeJuan Mathis, or somebody. Bennett, my man, I love you. I do. You're one of my favorite people. I love the story. It's incredible. But you just ain't got it, man. Pains me to say it. Listen, my big behind is never going to dunk a 10-foot basketball goal. I have to accept that. It just is what it is. So, yeah. So I guess we're going to get ready for Kentucky. We'll go see what maybe we can get a better quarterback play there. But hats off to Alabama. You guys kicked our behinds. Great football team, great coaching, got out coached again. Second half, we didn't do nothing. You guys dominated us, smacked us all around the field. So, still love my dogs. We're going to do what we can. So, we'll see you guys in the national championship game. We'll see you guys in the SEC championship game. Have a great day. God bless. Fire Stetson. Go Dogs.